Now, I will start my discussion on the topic model number 5, antenna types. That is the second part of this model number 5, that is antenna types. In this antenna types main topic, here you are having contents: introduction, helix geometry, helix models, practical design consideration for monofilar axial mode helical antenna, Aguda array, and parabolic reflectors. Now I would like to start from introduction of this antenna types. In this unit, here it describes about antenna types and their applications. Type of antenna like helical antennas, Aguda array antenna, reflector antennas, and they will be discussed. And this unit also deals with the characteristics of each type of antenna and their application. Now, first we will consider helical antenna. What is this helical antenna? A helical antenna is a specialized antenna which emits and responds to electromagnetic fields with rotating or circular polarization. What is helical antenna? It is a specialized antenna. It emits the electromagnetic energy and it responds to the electromagnetic energy with rotating polarization or circular polarization. These helical antennas are commonly used at earth-based stations in satellite communication system. These helical antennas are usually used in earth-based stations, usually in satellite communication. This type of antenna is designed for use with an unbalanced feed line, whereas in thin linear antenna, your feed line is centrally fixed with the balanced two-way transmission line. But this helical antenna is not used centrally feed transmission line. This type of antenna is designed for use with unbalanced feed line such as coaxial cable, and the coaxial cable you have to use here, whereas in a thin linear antenna you have to give the input power or input energy or anything by using the transmission line, balanced transmission line, and you have to fed this balanced transmission line at central point of the antenna system. But in this helical antenna, you can use for this unbalanced any like coaxial cable transmission line you may be used. The center of the conductor of the cable is connected to the helical element. What is in coaxial cable? Your one copper cable will be there, no? Centrally cable will be there. That cable is connected to the helical element, and the shield of the cable is connected to the reflector. Usually in coaxial cable you are having outside circular shape pipe will be there. Its axis and coaxial axis will be same. Okay, so therefore it is called as a coaxial cable. So helical element, the copper wire of the coaxial cable is connected, whereas outside reflector is connected to the outside shields. Now I will move on to the center of the conductor cable is connected to the helical element and the shield of the cable is connected to the other. So because if you want to see casually this helical antenna, it appears as a one or more springs or helices mounted against the flat reflecting screen. For casual observation on this helical antenna, if you are going to make, helical antenna appears as one or more springs, or those are called as helices, mounted on the against the flat reflecting screen. The length of the helical element is one wavelength or greater. The length of the helical element is one element one wavelength or greater. And the reflector is circular in nature or it is a square metal mesh. The reflector will be circular in nature or square metal mesh or sheet whose cross-dimensional measures at least 3 by 4 wavelength. You are having in helical antenna two parts. One is helical part, helical element. Its wavelength is this helical element is greater than one wavelength. The reflector element is circular or square type or sheet type. It's this sheet type reflector structure is having the cross-sectional dimension or its diameter. It measures at least 3 by 4 wavelength. The helical element has a radius of 1 by 8 to 1 by 4 wavelength. The helical element, a wire is there. No? That wire of a helical antenna is having the radius of 1 by 8 to 1 by 4 wavelength and pitch of 1 by 4 to 1 by 2 half wavelength. Pitch means in helix you are having spring type there, no? From one coil of the spring to the another coil of spring where space is called, that is called as a pitch. That pitch or gap between the two coils of a spring will be 1 by 4 is called as a helix. Its measurement will be in helix antenna 1 by 4 to 1 by 2 wavelength, and the element diameter of the helical element is 1 by 8 to 1 by 4 wavelength. The minimum dimensions depends on the lowest frequency at which the antenna is to be used. The lowest dimensions of the helical antenna depends on lowest frequency. How much you are going to use your helical antenna for the lower frequency, a dimension of that antenna will become reduced. So if the helix or reflector is too small, what will happen? If the helix or reflector of the helical antenna is very too small, the frequency of the signal will be very low, or the helical antenna you use for the low frequency signals. Then efficiency is severely degraded. However, your lower dimensional reflector and helical element are used for the very low frequency signals, and the efficiency of the antenna will become decreases. So maximum radiation and response occurs along the axis of the helix. In helical antenna, radiation will be taking place along the axis of the helix. The most popular helical antenna, it is also called as helix. It is a traveling wave antenna in the shape of corkscrew. This corkscrew produces radiation along the axis of the helix. The most popular helical antenna is traveling wave antenna in the shape of corkscrew. This corkscrew produces radiation along the axis of the helix. These helices are referred to as axial mode helical antennas. These helices are referred to as axial mode helical antennas. What is axial mode helical antennas? A helical antenna is in the form of a traveling wave antenna. It will be in the form of corkscrew. Its radiation is along the axis of the helix. Such type of antennas are called as axial mode helical antenna. What are the benefits of this axial mode helical antenna? It has wide bandwidth. Axial mode helical antenna is having benefits or advantages. It is having wide bandwidth, and this helical or axial mode helical antenna can be easily constructed, and this is having real input impedance and can produce circularly polarized fields. Why helical antennas will be used in axial mode helical antennas? because of it is having benefits or advantages like it has wide bandwidth, structure is constructed very easily, it has real input impedance. Real input impedance means impedance is represented by reactive component and active component, real components. Real means R plus J omega L. Okay, R is a real part of the impedance, that is called resistance value, and then J omega is reactive component. Like that, in this antenna, axial mode antenna, so your input is a real impedance and can produce circularly polarized fields and produce circularly polarized fields. The helical antenna or axial mode helical antenna is having this geometry. It is having like this. So from this edge to this spring, diameter of this spring is called as D. The space between one coil to another coil, which is from the one ring to another ring, from the center to center of each these two ring is called as S. The diameter of the one coil of the spring, one circle of the spring is D, and the two rings, between the two rings from the center to center you are having the distance is called as S. So here height of the helical antenna from this edge to this edge, this end to this end is called as H. So it will be parallel to the what? It will be parallel or it will be fixed in the Z direction. So it makes a right angle triangle where S you have to take this is, if you make an opposite right angle triangle, opposite side is used as a length and the base is used as C is equal to pi by D, hypotenuse is used as S. So and this other end of the helical antenna is connected to shield. This is shield which is connected with the coaxial feed wire is like this. Okay, so this is about your geometry of the helical antenna. So this is your another form of antenna, which is this is D. Between these two things, these two coils S is there. The total length of the antenna is called as height. What is the thickness of wire to make an helix? This is C. Thickness of this coil helix is called as C. So that is given as. Now it is having the following parameters. Axial mode helix antenna is having the following parameters. Those are called helix parameters. They are related by pi d square is equal to L square minus S square. What is L square? L is the length of the one end to other end of the coil or helix. This is L, or it may be called as H. And S is distance between two rings of the spring, which is measured from one ring center to the other ring center, that is called as S. So now pi d square is equal to L square minus S square, where S is spacing between the each turn, N is equal to number of turns, capital N is number of turns, D is equal to diameter of the helix, L is equal to A is equal to NS is equal to total length of the antenna. Total length of the antenna can be represented by capital L, or it may be represented as A, or it may be represented as NS. All are same to represent total length of the antenna. Now L is length of the wire. Here L, total length of the antenna is L dash. L is length of the wire between each turn. So total L is nothing but what? Total L is length of the wire from this circle to from this circle. This is called as the L. L dash means from here to here, that is a length. So now Ln is equal to total length of the wire. Ln is equal to total length of the wire. C is equal to pi d, circumference of the helix. C is equal to pi d. C is equal to pi d, which is C is equal to pi d, circumference of the helix. Now alpha is called as pitch angle formed by a line tangent to the helix wire and the plane perpendicular to the helix. Alpha is pitch angle formed by a line tangent to the helix wire and a plane perpendicular to the helix axis. So therefore pitch angle alpha is equal to tan inverse S by C minus tan inverse S by pi d. This you have to keep in mind. Pitch angle alpha is equal to tan inverse S by C minus tan inverse S by pi d. Now the radiation characteristics of the antenna can be varied by controlling the size of its geometrical properties compared to the wavelength. In helical axial mode helical antenna, if you want to control or if you want to or radiation characteristics of the antenna can be varied by controlling the size of the geometrical properties of helical antenna are compared with the lambda or wavelength. So this is how your antenna helical antenna structure is explained. What are the parameters, how it is constructed, what are the different parts, how it is connected to the rigid surface, what is the length, what is space between each coil or each turn, what is the diameter of the each turn, what is the thickness of the wire. All these parameters we have studied. Now how this helical antenna will operate during the transmission and reception, that is called as mode of operation. This helical antenna, monopole axial helical antenna, will be working in two modes. One is normal mode and second one is axial mode. In normal mode, this is your structure I am showing here. This is your structure I am showing. If the circumference, pitch and length of the helix are small compared to the wavelength, in normal mode, if you want to consider the pitch, circumference and the length of the helix are small compared to the wavelength, so that current is approximately uniform in magnitude and phase in all parts of the helix, the normal mode of radiation is excited. What is normal mode of a helix antenna is excited? If we want to say a normal helix antenna is working in normal mode means circumference, pitch and length of the helix are small compared to wavelength, so that current is approximately uniform in magnitude and phase in all parts of the helix. How your circumference, length of the helix and pitch of the helix antenna should be very small. They should be very small so that the magnet current distribution or current is approximately uniform in magnitude and phase in all the parts of the helix antenna. So then we are going to say the helical antenna is working in normal mode. This is how your antenna is a structure in which your axial mode antenna is in normal mode. Radiation is like this, which is always along the axis of the helix. Okay, now In normal mode, radiation is maximum in a plane normal to the helix axis. In normal mode, radiation is maximum in the plane normal to the helix axis. The radiation may be elliptically or circularly polarized. The radiation pattern will be elliptically or circularly polarized depending on the helix dimensions. How your radiation pattern will be taking place, or radiation of the field pattern, shape of the radiation pattern will be taking place means it may be elliptically polarized or circularly polarized depending on the helix dimensions. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this helical antenna? So, narrow bandwidth, poor efficiency. These are the disadvantages. The radiation pattern in this mode is a combination of the equivalent radiation from a short dipole positioned along the axis of the helix and a small coaxial loop. So I told the radiation of the helix antenna may be elliptically or circularly polarized, which will be depend on the helix dimensions. Because of disadvantages of the helix antenna, narrow bandwidth and poor efficiency, the radiation pattern in normal mode is combination of the equivalent radiation from the short dipole antenna, which is positioned along the axis of the helix, and the small coaxial loop. Now, radiation pattern of these two equivalent radiators. What are these two equivalent radiators? One is a coaxial loop, another one is short dipole, which is positioned along the helix axis. So, the radiation pattern of these two equivalent radiators, it's the same with the polarization at right angles, and the phase angles at a given point in space is at 90° apart. Space angle at a given point in space is 90° apart. Now, because of this, the radiation is either electrically polarized or circularly polarized depending upon the strength of radio of the two components. What are those components? Radiation of the two components? Because one is small coaxial loop, another one is short dipole positioned along the axis of the helix. Those will be individually radiated. So those will be combined. Those may be circularly or elliptically polarized. Therefore, the radiation is eitherly elliptically polarized or circularly polarized depending upon the field strength of radio of these two components, because this depends on the pitch angle alpha. When pitch angle alpha is very small, the loop type radiation will be taking place. When pitch angle alpha is very small, the loop type of radiation takes place. When it becomes very large, the helix becomes essentially a short dipole. When alpha is very small, the loop type radiation taking place. When this alpha becomes very large, helix becomes almost equal to or essentially a short dipole antenna. In these two limiting cases, the polarization is linear. In these two limitations, polarization is linear. For intermediate value of the polarization is elliptical. At a particular value of alpha, polarization is circular like this. Fields due to dipole is given by E theta of theta is equal to 60 pi d sin theta by lambda r. So this is field due to short dipole is given by in normal mode, because your helix antenna radiation pattern is combination of one is short dipole antenna, another one is small loop. So here electric field intensity will be in theta component, that is given as 60J pi Fs sin theta divided by lambda r, and fields of small loop in theta direction, that is electric field intensity in theta direction, is equal to J60 pi square Ia sin theta divided by lambda square into r. So magnitude of E theta and E theta ratios defined as axial ratio. Axial ratio of fields of small loop is represented as pi component of electric field intensity, whereas fields due to short dipole is theta electric field components. So magnitude of E theta to E pi, magnitude of ratio of E theta to E pi, that will gives you axial ratio, that is equal to S lambda by 2 pi a, that is equal to S divided by beta a, because beta is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi. So S divided by a is remaining. So therefore axial ratio is equal to, it is the ratio of magnitude of E theta by E pi. E theta is equal to S pi divided by 2 pi a lambda is equal to S divided by beta a, because beta is equal to lambda by 2 pi. 1 over beta is equal. So the field is circularly polarized if S is equal to beta a. If S is equal to axial ratio, here S is equal to beta a. When S is equal to beta a, the fields from the helix antenna is circularly polarized. Therefore S is equal to 2 pi by lambda pi d square divided by 4 is equal to pi d whole square divided by 2 lambda. So therefore 2s by lambda is equal to pi d by lambda whole square. So from figure 6.1, L square minus S square is equal to pi d whole square. So therefore L by lambda whole square minus S by lambda whole square is equal to pi d by lambda whole square is equal to 2s by lambda. So therefore now 1 plus L by lambda whole square is equal to 1 plus 2s by lambda plus S by lambda whole square, that is equal to 1 plus S by lambda whole square. 1 plus S by lambda is equal to root of 1 plus lambda by whole square. So S by lambda is equal to minus 1 or root of 1 plus lambda by L, L by lambda whole square minus 1. This is the condition for circular polarization. Okay, S by lambda is equal to minus 1 plus under the root of 1 plus L by lambda whole square. This is condition for circularly polarization of the helical antenna. So the pitch angle is given by tan alpha is equal to S by pi d, but S is equal to pi d square by 2 lambda. So therefore tan alpha is equal to pi d square divided by 2 lambda pi d. So pi d divided by 2 lambda is remaining, because pi d square in the numerator 1 pi d is cancelled with denominator 1 pi d. So numerator will be remaining with pi d divided by 2 lambda. So now we will move on to the axial mode operation of the helical antenna. So here, if the dimensions of the helicals are such that circumference of one turn is approximately lambda, the antenna radiates in helical axial mode. If you want to observe which mode your helical antenna is working, if you want to say if your helical antenna is working in axial mode when it is possible, when the dimension of the helix are such that circumference of one turn or one ring or one circle made by this ring of the helical conductor is approximately lambda, the antenna radiates in axial mode. What are the advantages of this axial mode operation? What are the disadvantages of this axial mode operation of the helical antenna? First one is large bandwidth and good efficiency. In axial mode, large bandwidth, good efficiency. The radiation is circularly polarized and it is having maximum value in the direction of helix axis. Radiation is circularly polarized in axial mode and this radiation is having the maximum value in the direction of axial helix axis. Then the next advantage is the directivity increase linearly with the length of the helix. The directivity of the helical antenna increases according to the length of the helix. It also referred as helix beam antenna. When your directivity increases according to the length of the helix element, it is called as helix beam antenna. And then fourth advantage is it will act like a end fire array. It will act like end fire array because one antenna other end is first antenna, other end is second end. Second antenna, first end is fixed. Second antenna, second end. Third antenna, first end is fixed. Like that, end fire array is arranged. So it acts like an end fire array. The far field pattern of the helix can be developed by assuming helix consists of array of n identical turns with an uniform spacing s between them. When it is this helical antenna is acting like an end fire array, the far field pattern of the helix can be developed by assuming that helix consists of array of n identical turns with an uniform spacing between them. That means turns. Therefore, the 3 dB bandwidth is given as f3 dB is equal to 52 by c into under the root of lambda cube by ns degree. What is 3 dB bandwidth in axial mode helical antenna? F frequency in 3 dB is equal to 52 divided by c into under the root lambda cube divided by ns degrees. Here in this axial mode, directivity D is maximum, that is equal to 15 nsc square divided by lambda cube. In the axial mode, directivity is increases, that means it is a maximum which will increase according to the length of the helix. That maximum directivity is equal to 15 n s into c square divided by lambda cube. Here n is number of turns in the helix, c is circumference of the each helix, s is spacing between the turns, and lambda is wavelength. Okay. Now, what are the applications of helical antenna in axial mode or axial mode operation of the helical antenna when you are going to use? So this is used in space telemetry application at the ground end of the telemetry link for satellite and space probes at a high frequency and very high frequency. at the very high frequency and high frequency, this axial mode helical antenna is used in space telemetry application at the ground base station of the telemetry link for satellite communication. It is used for lower frequency, medium frequency and high frequency antennas. For low frequency, medium frequency and high frequency antennas, the choice of an antenna for particular frequency depends on the following factors. The choice of an antenna for a particular frequency depends on following factors. Those factors are radiation efficiency to ensure proper utilization of the power, antenna gain and radiation pattern, knowledge of antenna impedance for efficient matching of the feeder, frequency characteristics and bandwidth, structural consideration. Structural consideration. What are the factors depends the choice of an antenna at particular frequency. At particular frequency means what? Low frequency, medium frequency and high frequency antennas. The choice of an antenna out of these three categories will be depends on following factors. What are those factors? Radiation efficiency to ensure proper utilization of power, antenna gain and radiation pattern, knowledge of antenna impedance for efficient matching of the feeder, okay, frequency characteristics and bandwidth, and structural consideration. So this is about your axial mode operation of the helical antenna. Now I will move on to the another topic is called Yagi-Uda array. This is also one type of antenna. This is also one type of antenna that is called as Yagi-Uda antenna or Yagi-Uda array. So this Yagi-Uda or Yagi antenna, it is invented by Uda and Yagi in 1928. Yagi and Uda are the scientists or inventors. The basic element used in this Yagi is lambda by 2 dipole. The basic element in Yagi-Uda antenna or Yagi array is lambda by 2 dipole placed horizontally, known as a driven element or active element. A dipole antenna which is having a length lambda by 2 is placed horizontally. It is known as a driven element or active element, because through this dipole element input power is supplied or signal is applied. Input power is applied. In order to convert a bidirectional dipole into unidirectional system, the passive elements are used, which are called as reflector and director. Usually this Yagi-Uda array, which is consisting of lambda by 2 dipole, which is fixed horizontally, that is called as a driven element or active element. Because it is fixed on the horizontally, it will radiate bidirectional. In order to convert bidirectional dipole into unidirectional system or dipole, the passive elements are used along with this active or driven element. Those are called as reflector and director. Those are called as reflector and director. So totally in Yagi-Uda array, main important components are: one is radiator or active driven element or active element, one element which is supplied with the input power or input energy. Along with this, to convert the bidirectional dipole into unidirectional dipole, two passive elements are connected. Those are called as reflector and director. So what are those? On what basis you are going to add with the active element to or driven element along with these passive elements? totally in Yagi-Uda array you are having three elements. One is reflector. Reflector length is equal to 500 by f in terms of megahertz. Reflector length will be approximately 500 divided by your signal frequency in megahertz. How much you will be getting in terms of feet? That will be the length of the reflector. What is the length of the driven element? Driven element is it is connected horizontally, which is supplied with the input energy which has to be transmitted or radiated by this Yagi-Uda array. Okay, so driven element length is 475 divided by signal frequency in megahertz. If you make this calculation, so your length of the driven element will be in terms of feet. Similarly, director length will be 455 divided by signal frequency in megahertz. That will gives you in terms of feet. So these relations are given for elements with a length to diameter ratio between 200 to 400 and spacing between 0.1 lambda to 0.2 lambda. These relations, above three relations, that is length of the driven element, length of the reflector, length of the director, these are given for the elements with the length diameter ratio, length to the diameter ratio between 200 to 400 and spacing between each element on the Yagi array is 0.1 lambda to 0.2 lambda. With this parasitic elements, impedance reduces less than 73 ohm. With this parasitic elements, impedance of the Yagi-Uda antenna reduces less than 73 ohm, and they may be even less than 25 ohm, or it may be decreases. Impedance of the Yagi-Uda array will be decreases less than 25 ohm. So therefore, this folded lambda by 2 dipole is used to increase the impedance. A folded lambda by 2 dipole antenna is used to increase the impedance. And this system can be constructed with more than one director. Addition of each director increases the gain by nearly 3 dB. If you want to increase the impedance of this Yagi-Uda array, system may be constructed with more than one director. If you want to add each director, it increases the gain by 3 dB for one director addition. So number of elements in a Yagi-Uda array is maximum 11 elements. Number of elements in the Yagi-Uda antenna is maximum 11 elements. So this is the figure. And the passive or parasitic elements are placed parallel to driven element. Here passive, this is driven element. Through with this your input energy is applied. This is reflector, and these are all. Reflector is length is 475 divided by frequency in megahertz. Driven element length is 450 divided by lambda into what? Frequency in megahertz. And remaining are directors, which is divided 455 divided by frequency in megahertz. So these are the directors. So how many number of directors? Passive, these elements are called as passive or parasitic elements. These elements are placed parallel to the driven element. All these elements in this Yagi-Uda are parallel to each other, or they are called as collinearly placed close together. This arrangement is called parallel arrangement of each parasitic element, or it is called as collinear. Is also like a collinear array. The parasitic element placed in front of a diamond element is called as a director. This is in front, this is a front side, this is back side. Okay, so parasitic elements or directors placed in front of a driven element is called as director. This director length is 5% less than that of a driven element. Driven element length will be always less than 5% with this driven element. The element placed at the back of this driven element is called as reflector. Reflector is connected with its reflector length is greater than driven element. It is greater than driven element by 5%. The space between the element ranges between 0.1 to each space from this element to this element, between each element out of 11 element. So the spacing between each element in the Yagi-Uda array is 0.1 lambda to 0.3 lambda. So this completes your basic operation of Yagi-Uda array. I will stop this session. Thank you for watching this video.